He was digging through piles of garbage, desperate and alone, when he stumbled upon something that no one could have ever expected. A mattress that would transform his life forever. What he found inside changed everything. Oena grew up in an orphanage, a place that felt more like a cold, silent prison than a home. He never knew what life outside meant. The high walls, the iron gates, the constant hum of children playing, the smell of the old kitchen, the strict rules enforced by stern caretakers. This was all he had ever known. But everything changed the day he turned 18. That was the limit. The home could no longer keep him. With a small bag, patched at the corners, and a heart full of fear, Oena stepped into the world for the first time. The streets were wider than any dream he had ever dared to imagine, yet darker too. The noise of rushing cars, shouting vendors, and the ceaseless clamor of Lagos pressed down on him. It was nothing like the safety of the orphanage. For the first time, he felt truly alone. No one asked if he had eaten. No one guided him. The sun blazed, but his heart was colder than the shadowed alleys he wandered through. He looked for work, but every door seemed closed, every face indifferent. He had no family, no certificates, no connections, just himself, and the tiny flame of courage he carried inside. Life on the streets of Lagos was merciless. Every day felt like a battle he was destined to lose. He wore tattered clothes that barely protected him from the harsh sun or cold nights. He carried his belongings in a small, frayed bag. Sometimes he carried heavy loads in the crowded markets for strangers. Sometimes he washed cars for coins. Sometimes he pushed a rusty wheelbarrow across the hot Sunday pavements. People brushed past him, barely noticing, sometimes sneering, sometimes pretending he wasn't there. At night, when the city lights glittered, Oena had nowhere to go. He slept on wooden benches by the roadside or under the shade of dead trees, using his bag as a pillow. Many nights his stomach ached with emptiness, the aroma of nearby food stalls mocking his hunger. Yet, every morning, he whispered to himself, "One day, things will change. One day, this pain will end." Even in hunger, he carried a dream, that one day he would not just survive Lagos, but rise above it. One hot afternoon, the sun burning his skin, Oena walked slowly to a small provision shop. His stomach growled, but he tried to appear strong. He waited quietly for the few customers to leave, hoping it would be his turn. When it finally came, he swallowed hard, his voice barely audible. "Mama Dara, please give me 2 gala and a bottle of Coke. I promise to pay when I get my share from the construction work." Madara looked him up and down, her face twisted with disgust. "Is that all you want? Don't you also need a place to sleep tonight? Are you not ashamed?" she snapped, her voice rising. She scolded him in front of strangers, comparing him to others who were successful while he still begged. His face burned with humiliation. Tears filled his eyes. He turned away, shoulders hunched, his heart heavy with shame. He found solace under a crooked tree by the roadside. Hunger twisted his stomach, thirst burned his throat, and fatigue weighed down his limbs. He thought of the parents he never knew. Why did they leave him in this world? He felt like a stranger in his own life. Everywhere he turned, he faced rejection. Everywhere he went, shame. Slowly, he drifted into sleep under the burning afternoon sun. The next day, while collecting empty cans, a binner passed the usual garbage dump and saw something unusual. A mattress, surprisingly clean, as if discarded for no reason. His heart lifted. He wasn't picky. He had learned to be grateful for anything. Lifting the mattress, He carried it home proudly, ignoring the mocking laughter of the passers-by. For the first time in years, Oena had something of his own, a mattress soft enough to sleep on. That night, he slept soundly. The following days were hard, as usual. While returning home one afternoon, a black car splashed him with muddy water. From the car, a man stepped out, stern, wealthy-looking. Oena bowed, apologetic. Then a tall man, striking and familiar, stepped out. Oena froze. It was Che, his friend from the orphanage. Recognition flashed in both their eyes. "Oena?" Che asked, disbelief in his voice. "Yes, it's me," Oena replied, emotion cracking his voice. Che handed him a golden business card, inviting him to his office. For Oena, it felt like a door opening to a new life. But day after day, Che's office remained inaccessible. Excuses, meetings, travels. Each visit ended with disappointment. Life on the streets continued. Hunger gnawed. Exhaustion weighed him down. Yet Oena persevered. Nights were spent on his mattress, whispering to himself, "Tomorrow will be different," though tomorrow seemed never to come. Then, one morning, a strange sound called him. Outside the uncompleted building, the mattress shifted oddly. A small zipper appeared, revealing a black nylon bag. Trembling, Oena opened it to discover bundles of fresh Nera notes, more money than he had ever seen. Tears filled his eyes. Fate had smiled at him. With careful hands, he packed only the essentials: his shirt, slippers, and the bag of money. The rest, the worn mattress, the scraps of his suffering, were left behind. For the first time, Oena walked the streets with hope as his companion. Years passed. Oena, once a beggar, became a wealthy man. His hands that once pushed a rusty wheelbarrow now signed million Nera contracts. Cars, tailored suits, and a mansion replaced the hardships of his past. Yet, he never forgot. Every Sunday, he returned to the orphanage, bringing gifts, paying school fees, sharing hope. Success for Oena was not just wealth, it was lifting others so they wouldn't face the same suffering he endured. And then came the day of reckoning. Mama Dara, the woman who mocked him, sat at her shop. Oena arrived, calm, composed, dressed in fine clothes. Recognition struck her like lightning. She whispered his name, eyes wide. The street fell silent. Oena turned, leaving only whispers of regret behind. Che, too, approached, desperate for friendship, offering gifts, calling him. But Oena's voice was calm, sharp. "Friendship is tested in suffering. You failed me when I had nothing. Now that I have everything, you remember me? No." The tables had turned. Power humbled the proud and lifted the humble. Oena walked away, leaving a lesson etched in the hearts of those who once mocked him. The boy who had nothing now commanded respect. Do not despise small beginnings. The rejected stone often becomes the cornerstone when the tables turn. Life humbles the proud and lifts the humble, reminding us, tables always turn. The end. Stay tuned for more African folk tales filled with wisdom and hope. Thank you for watching.